What does Martin Luther King Day mean to me? It means a day of celebration.
Civil rights realized.
Freedom that I have, trying to keep the dream alive.
It's a day of service.
The day of equals of black people and white people.
A day that's totally misunderstood.
It means a day of love.
It's a day to remind everybody.
When everything changed in America.
It's a day of celebration, truly, for the work and the life of Martin Luther King.
But it's not just one day. We should celebrate this every day. I was one of the persons who were still involved with these in the early civil rights movement from the 60s. I was in college at the time, and I can remember going to rallies where Dr. Martin Luther King spoke at. And so I had some experience of actually feeling the joy of what it felt like being involved with it. It was like a pep rally. And he was like the person that spoke with. So everybody got involved like that. And actually, we did not know that this was the history that we were making. And I spoke with him and said, boy, you know, you really had a very tough time fighting in Vietnam. That should have been quite scary. And he said, you know, you were in Mississippi during that time. I was teaching school. And he said, you were in more danger than I was. And that's when it really hit me, was that I was a part of something, part of history that I did not know. No, the day is not enough, but it's always a start. And some people will look at it and say, we are glad to celebrate this day. But it's not just one day. We should celebrate this every day. That's when this joy and his dream will really be realized.
The day of equals of black people and white people, and like how like Martin Luther King revolutionized the world, and how this day means a lot to us since we're not in slavery, doing other people's work like that. And then we have equal rights independent to white people. So that's what it means to me.
When I was married in Louisiana 23 years ago, and my husband is black, things were totally different living in the South. We got married in Louisiana. We did encounter a few problems, but we kind of worked through most everything. Today, we have a 19-year-old son, and I think everything that we dealt with or had to deal with over the years, he will not. He doesn't even think about those things. He would never think to ask, was it okay to live somewhere? He would never think about who his friends were, what color his friends were, or who he dates. To him, it's just people. And when he graduated from high school back in June, I remember thinking how racially and ethnically mixed that graduating class was, whereas my graduating class 30 years ago, we had one black man in the entire class. And today, he has every opportunity to pursue every dream that he would have without any barriers.
What Martin Luther King Day means to me, it's part of a foundation that was built years ago. I believe that Martin Luther King Day is something that is generational, that we need to transfer to our youth. I think right now that Martin Luther King Day has become a day that's totally misunderstood. Not a holiday just for people of color, that it's a holiday for everybody, and that it's not over yet, and that there still is racism and sexism and classism, and that as we continue to, especially in New Hampshire, try and build up Martin Luther King Day, that the message that he talked about in his speech gets transferred to many people, not just to some people. I believe that if I went outside right now and walked up and down the sidewalk and asked people about Martin Luther King Day, they would say it's a day to go shopping, a day off from school, a day off from work. It would be a day of equality. It would be a day of understanding, a day of forgiveness. I think it's a day that wouldn't have to have a special day, that would be transferred into the week, into the months.
He represents a major role model in my life. I remember times growing up in Jamaica when we dealt with adversities nowhere near what he dealt with. When I think of what he had to endure and what people back then had to endure, it's nothing in comparison now. And he never, to the best of my knowledge, made it to Jamaica. But watching his videos and see how he has overcome adversities, it strengthened us. And we use these videos and his teachings in our schools and in our churches. So even though we never met him, he was never on the island, he was instrumental nonetheless.
What does Martin Luther King Day mean to me? It is celebrating when everything changed. And by that, I mean, I grew up in a southern town, a southern segregated town. I remember going to a segregated school, and the thing that sticks out in my mind is that all the books we had all the names written in those books when we got them. All of our books were 20 years old. And the thing I remember about the Civil Rights Movement is the year after we had that and everybody voted and everything, we got new books for the first time. And so when I celebrate getting new books in school. I celebrate the fact that I have a job much different than even my parents could get before that. My whole attitude about life was lifted because of what Martin had to say. I actually believed him, that things could be better. And because I believed that things could be better because of what he said, I actually went out and tried to make them better. And so when I celebrate Martin's birthday, I celebrate when everything changed in America, when people who had no hope of doing better got a chance to do better. And that changed when he was talking about children being trapped in a where they have low expectations and where even their mental skies are dark. He brightened those mental skies. And so that's what I celebrate. I celebrate the fact that his dream came true. Not everybody's accepted it. But the bottom line is, in America, his dream came true.